Peace and welcome. Welcome. I'm just going to give it a few moments to see who comes on in the live chat. I welcome everyone here. I appreciate your presence. As long as we're all behaving ourselves. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome, Sarah. Welcome, Chris. Welcome, Sterling. Just going to give it a few moments. I know that we always have a few people in the background who don't come into the chat. That's okay. You can be shy. Welcome. Welcome, Recovering Soul. Welcome. I think I pulled a card for you before, Sterling. I'm pretty sure. You get to, I'm just pulling one card. It's whatever card that you choose. Cosmic deck, one of the 22 major arcana, one of the earth magic deck. So welcome. It's going to give it a few moments. We have more people coming on the live, and that's always awesome. Make sure I have my handy dandy glasses ready. Welcome, Dark Story. Welcome. I am doing fantastic. It's slowly feeling more like fall today here in the Northeast, and was fighting a little bit of a something trying to come on, but I'm hanging in there. I took my zinc, and I have to double up on the vitamin C shortly. All right, so I am going to go ahead and bring in the chimes. So, taking a little sip of my magnesium. All right, very good. Oh, yes, Sterling, I spent a lot of time on YouTube looking at robotic videos out of Japan. And I think one guy, I guess there's some hotel in Japan that is staffed by robots. It was pretty interesting. Okay. Let's go ahead and welcome everyone into this sacred space that we are creating with our intention. And even though we're not all physically in the same room, energetically, we are holding the same space for each other. Myself here, those in the live chat, and those that are watching, that are keeping quiet, we are all part of this sacred space, and I appreciate each and every one of you. We come into this space to be a support to each other, to be comrades, to, just to be there for each other. And so I appreciate you. Welcome, Conscious Tone. Welcome. Oh, by the way, I would like to encourage those, check out Conscious Tone. He has a lovely channel, does some nice video shorts that are, I think most of them are out in nature, which is my favorite place to be, except for when it's really freezing cold outside. It's a little cold for me, but I invite you to check out his channel. I really enjoyed some of his videos there. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a nice deep centering breath. And we enter into this space. Peace. And again, that channel is Conscious Space Tone 313. The number's 313 connected to the tone. If you do a search on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find that channel. Welcome. All right. So where did I put my glasses? Oh, there they are. Okay, excuse me. And so I'm going to do a little short reading from the Tao Te Ching. And then from there, a reading from Oneness. And if anyone would like for me to pull one card for them. Okay. All right. Here we go. So before we get started, I encourage everyone here watching, please like this video. Please remember to like this video. It helps the algorithm guys out there to do their thing when you like the video. And it helps it to be put out for recommendations for other. You are welcome, Conscious Tone. And that's conscious for those who are not in a chat room, CONSCIOUS, and then there's the space, and TONE 313. Okay, so we're gonna read in, oh, hopefully I put the marker in the right place. And so we're gonna read from the Tao Te Ching. We're going to read from the Tao Te Ching by Jia Fu Feng and Jane English. And this is chapter 51. I always like to show the page because, especially in Jane English's book, it's such beautiful black and white art. I'm a big fan of black and white photography as well as Sumi ink. Welcome, welcome Teresa. Welcome Integrator. And Integrator, I don't know if you saw my response to you. I think I figured out what you were asking me. My birth number and life path number is 8. There you go, if that helps your analysis. So 51. All things arise from Tao. They are nourished by virtue. They are formed from matter. They are shaped by environment. Thus, the 10,000 things all respect Tao and honor virtue. Respect of Tao and honor of virtue are not demanded, but they are in the nature of things. Therefore, all things arise from Tao. By virtue, they are nourished, developed, cared for, sheltered, comforted, grown, and protected. Created without claiming, doing without taking credit, guided, guiding without interfering. This is primal virtue. Wow, I really enjoyed that one. And if you don't mind, I really like this translation and I want to read it one more time. Good evening, Pablo. 51. All things arise from Tao. They are nurtured by virtue. They are formed from matter. They are shaped by environment. Thus, the 10,000 things all respect Tao and honor virtue. Respect of Tao and honor of virtue are not demanded, but they are in the nature of things. Therefore, all things arise from Tao. By virtue, they are nurtured. By virtue, they are nourished, developed, cared for, sheltered, comforted, grown, and protected. Creating without claiming, doing without taking credit, guiding without interfering. This is primal virtue. Wow. I am going to have to make a copy of this page. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. As I was reading that, all I could think of is, being a mother as you're caring for your children, and you're raising them up in the way that you feel they should be raised, and then they become adults. They step out of the house. Yes, 18 is an arbitrary age to be considered an adult. We all know that the brain doesn't really fully begin to mature till around the age of 25, 26. But, once they hit 18, they feel that they're mature and they're adults. And for most part, they're on their own. You send them off to college. I have two in college right now and one in grad school. And this just reminds me of the process of mothering. And once you get to a point, it's whether your mother, your father, your auntie or an uncle, anyone who is in the care, takes care of another person and is sort of their support. At a certain time, you let them go. And as much as you like to tell them, no, don't go this way, no, don't go that way, this way is better, that way is better, this kind of inspires me to try to find that middle ground where I'm guiding without interfering. As the saying goes, it's best, the best way to learn something is by teaching it. And I definitely agree with that, which is one of the reasons why during my Buddhist minister's school, whenever we are called upon to facilitate different segments, I always pick a segment that I really need to learn more. So I always do that because I know that by virtue of going over it and over it again and listening to others and sharing the information and hearing the information, it sinks in that much more. So I'm going to see how I can fit into that area of guiding without interfering. Okay, so our next read is from translation by Stephen Addis and Stanley Lombardo. Recovering Soul said she was thinking of motherhood as well as I was reading that. So we're in 51. This is what it looks like in this page. And almost all of these I bought secondhand from the secondhand store. Used bookstore, I meant to say. Okay, here we go. Tao bears them. Day nurses them. Events form them. Energy completes them. Therefore, the 10,000 beings honor, Tao, and respect Day. Tao is honored. Day is respected because they do not give orders, but endure in their own nature. Therefore, Tao bears them and Day nurses them, rears them, raises them, shelters them, nurtures them, supports them, protects them, bears them without owning them, helps them without coddling them, rears them without ruling them. This is called original day. She Wei Yuan Day. Wow, that's really beautiful. So we have the Tao and the Day, the Tao Te Ching, the Tao and the Day, the way and virtue. Okay, so our next. Yeah, you're right. You're probably right. Sterling says that he believes that the kanji on the cover are represent elder and child. Yeah, there you go. I think you're probably correct, Sterling. And you probably know better than I do. Okay. All right. So chapter 51 from Stephen Mitchell's translation of the Tao Te Ching. Every being in the universe is an expression of the Tao. It springs into existence, unconscious, perfect, free, takes on a physical body, lets circumstances complete it. That is why every being spontaneously honors the Tao. The Tao gives birth to all beings, nourishes them, maintains them, cares for them, comforts them, protects them, takes them back to itself. Creating without possessing, acting without expecting, guiding without interfering. That is why love of the Tao is in the very nature of things. Wow. Kind of reminds me of a conversation that I was having with Chris yesterday, which of course had to do with motherhood as well. You know, when you have to, when you realize that your children's lives are their own lives and you're not in control of them and the decisions that they make and what they choose to believe and what they choose to follow and what they choose to accept as their truth. But as Chris reminded me yesterday, even though I let go physically and verbally, still energetically, I can still hold space for them, holding space and creating that space where they are held and nurtured and supported, and all things work out for their highest good, for lack of a better term. That is what is coming through as I'm reading this chapter 51. So this is the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, translated by John C.H. Wu is what I was trying to say. Yes, Pavel. Pavel mentions that he or she, I'm not sure if it's a male or female, but they have a copy of Stephen Mitchell's in their library, and Stephen uses the pronouns he and she basically interchangeably in his translation, and I really appreciate that. I really do like that. And I would also check out Stephen Mitchell has a translation of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the song of the Lord or God's song, and it's a very beautiful, poetic. It's not an exact translation. It's more of an interpretation, poetic interpretation of the Bhagavad Gita. So that would be wonderful to check out. So here's the chapter 51, Tao Te Ching. Tao gives them life. Virtue nurses them. Matter shapes them. Environment perfects them. Therefore, all things, without exception, worship Tao and do homage to virtue. They have not been commanded to worship Tao and do homage to virtue, but they always do so spontaneously. It is Tao that gives them life. It is virtue that nurses them, grows them, fosters them, shelters them, comforts them, nourishes them, and covers them under her wings. To give life, but to claim nothing. To do your work, but to set no store by it. To be a leader, not a butcher. This is called hidden virtue. I like that. I really do. That really has something to teach me. Okay. I was just reading the back of the book. This is a Shambhala classic book, of course, and on the back of the book is a little essay written by Thomas Merton, who I believe he was like a Christian mystic, a contemporary 20th century. And I just wanted to share this. I thought it was really nice. No better choice of translator could have been made for the Tao Te Ching than Dr. John C.H. Wu, whose rendering is superb. More than this, Dr. Wu is one who is able to translate Lao Tzu not only in his words, but in his life. Everyone knows in a vague way that the Tao Te Ching is poetic, and indeed that it is great poetry. Perhaps we do not realize that some of the wisdom of the Tao Te Ching is absolutely necessary for us not only to progress, but even to survive. I like that. That's some of the wisdom. And you know, I'm a person, I mean, there are some chapters in here like on military or, you know, government that are like, I don't really need them. You know, we're never going to come across something that is just we're going to agree with completely. But I think the beauty of modern life and of technology and of having access to even the internet is that we are able to find those things. We're able to connect with that which, you know, speaks to us, resonates with us, and can help us on our journey. And of course, you know, those bits and pieces that we may feel do not necessarily speak to us, you know, we don't get rid of those either, because who knows, a year, 6 months, 5 years, 10 years down the line, it might very well speak to us because, you know, according to Buddhist tradition, uh, there is no permanent soul. And unfortunately, a lot of Westerners interpret that to mean that there is no soul. And then once you're dead and that's it. There's nothing. No, it's what it's saying is there is no permanent soul, meaning that the person that you see here, you know, I am not unchanging. I am not constant. I am constantly growing, changing, evolving, maybe sometimes even devolving. This session that we're having here, where I've communicated and learned something from Sterling, I've communicated with Pavel and Conscious, Tone 313, and Chris and Teresa and everyone here. When this broadcast is over, each and every one of us is going to be a different person than when we sat down. Now, we're not going to be 110% a completely different person, but it's like little incremental changes in who we are. And that is what is meant by there is no permanent soul. So what we might think may not resonate with us today, it very may well in the near future, the distant future, and things that resonate with us today may not resonate with us in the future as we hopefully learn and grow and change. Conscious Tone 313 says the beauty of every translation is that although the words are different, the essence of the meaning are the same. And one of the reasons, I didn't mention it, but one of the reasons why I use 4 different translations is because for the most part of here, most of us are not native Chinese speakers. And even if we were native Chinese speakers, the beauty of traditional written Chinese is that the characters, when they're written, you need to know the context as you're reading it, because one sentence could probably be interpreted or read a couple of different ways. So it's important to know the context of what you're reading. And so with that said, each person who meets with the Tao Te Ching is going to see a different aspect reaching out to them. And so therefore, interpret it differently and even translate it using, various different words. And so I thought it would be nice to read the 4 different translations because I had them. And that way, sometimes when we do the reading, one particular translation really stands out. It really conveys something interesting that another translation might convey something that's a little bit different. And depending upon the person, how they were nurtured, who they are, how they've experienced things, they're going to take from that translation, that interpretation, something completely different than the next person. And I think someone asked me, were these socks on my wrist? They're not socks, they're wrist cuffs. And if you did a Google search on Lillian's Farm, I think she's on Etsy. She's a very dear friend of mine. She was my doula, a friend, and I had purchased these from her several years ago because I am always cold. And I noticed that if I keep this thin area, that's very thin, and I don't have a whole lot of fat. I mean, I got a lot of baby fat, but I don't have a whole lot of fat on me. And if I keep my wrists warm, my ankles warm, and my neck, I generally feel a lot better. So yes. And these are my Wonder Woman bracelets. These shield that negative energy and that evil eye coming towards me. So anyway, so let me go ahead and bring in a little bit of Eckhart Tolle, Oneness with All Life. These are, this is inspirational selections from a new earth. Okay. And I do have a crystal to introduce us to this evening. Okay. All right, so I have a bit of a reading here. When you think, feel, perceive, and experience, consciousness is born into form. It is reincarnating into a thought, a feeling, a sense perception, and experience. The cycles of rebirths that Buddhists hope to get out of eventually is happening continuously. It sort of relates to when I talked about the fact that we do not have a permanent, non-changing soul, that we're constantly changing, and it's like that's a cycle of birth and death right there in this physical life. The cycles of rebirths that Buddhists hope to get out of eventually is happening continuously. And it is only at this moment, through the power of now, that you can get out of it. Through complete acceptance of the form of the now, you become internally aligned with space, which is the essence of now. Through acceptance, you become spacious inside, aligned with space instead of form. That brings true perspective and balance into your life. So I see that last sentence where it says aligned with space instead of form. I see that. You can also, I would interpret that as being aligned with the energy that's happening at the moment, aligned with what is going on, instead of being stuck in a rigid thinking of this is the way it should be. And, it's sort of like I give the example of taking time to read a story to your child. You're like working at the computer and your child wants a bedtime story, right? And it's like, instead of aligning with that space, the energy of moving into, okay, we're going to do a bedtime story now, it's that energy of, no, I have this work to do and I have to do this now. So that's the form and sticking with that. But if you're more willing to, quote unquote, go with the flow, as they say, that's being aligned with space. And being able to move in that space and move in that flow, that brings true perspective and balance to your life. People believe themselves to be dependent on what happens for their happiness. That is to say, dependent on form. They don't realize that what happens is the most unstable thing in the universe. It constantly changes. It changes constantly. They look upon the present moment as either marred by something that has happened, in the past, or shouldn't have, or as deficit because of something that has not happened but should have. And so they miss the deeper perfection that is inherent in life itself, a perfection that is always already here, that lies beyond what is happening or not happening, beyond form. Accept the present moment and find the perfection that is deeper than any form and untouched by time. It always kind of makes me sad sometimes when I hear friends or even family members that will say, I will be happy when I win the lottery. I will be happy when I get a job. I will be happier when I move out of this apartment. And what happens? They're making their happiness dependent upon a certain form taking place in their life. What happens if that form doesn't take place? Will you never be happy? And so I think what Eckhart Tolle is inviting us to do is to accept this moment as it is. And, I say, choose to be happy right now where you are. Even if your toe is throbbing, you can still choose to be happy. No, my toe is not throbbing. I don't even know why I said that. I don't even know why toe came in. But, I am a foot reflexologist and feet are my passion. My motto is love your feet and your body will love you. So welcome, welcome, welcome. A integrator says, it is all here now, just do it. Yes, it is all here now, just be. We can get, and I think I probably missed a page. Did I miss the page? Because that just reminds me there was one more thing in there and I probably missed the page. Oh, yes. Thank you, A Integrator. You just reminded me. This was the page that I originally wanted to share, but I had decided to back up. And then this will be the last of the reading. I'm sorry. I guess I just like to hear myself talk. So this is the page right here. Okay. The joy of being. The joy of being, which is the only true happiness, cannot come to you through any form, possession, achievement, person, or event, through anything that happens. The joy cannot come to you ever. It emanates from the formless dimension within you, from consciousness itself, and thus is one with who you are. The joy of being. So basically, it's kind of like a choice. You have a choice to be happy now, to be happy within yourself, because no matter what you buy, no matter how many degrees you have, no matter, what good lover you have in your life, your partner, your husband, your wife, your spouse, your fiance, person, child, no matter what you're going to do, whether it's, getting a new job, none of those, happiness cannot come through any of those things. That joy cannot come to you ever. It emanates from the formless dimension within you, from consciousness itself, and thus one with who you are. You are joy if you choose to be it. So there we go. This is Eckhart Tolle. And this book, it does come in paperback. And this is the hardbound. This is called the Treasury Edition. Okay, so I finally found my Love is in the Earth, a kaleidoscope of crystals. And I know these are kind of small, but hopefully you can see them nonetheless. We are going to experience some tiger eye. Here you go, tiger eye. So this is tiger eye. So let's see what Melody has to share with us. T-U-V, okay, Q. Let's see what Melody has to share with us regarding tiger eye. And if anyone has any comments or questions, please feel free to post them in the chat room. Let's see, tiger eye. Thunder egg. Never heard of thunder egg. Thorolite. That's interesting. I wonder if Thoreau discovered that one. We got tiger iron. There we go. Tiger eye. So we're going to read tiger eye. And there's Melody, looking all 1970-ish, hippie-ish. She says, hello. Okay, so we have tiger eye. And tiger eye, it is connected to the astrological sign of Scorpio. Tiger eye is a quartz replacement of crocetolite, or blue asbestos, or of gold asbestos. Okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to look those up. It differs from cat's eye with respect to the configuration of the fibers. The fibers are twisted or crumpled instead of straight. Yeah, I think that's tiger eye. It exhibits the quality of chatoyancy due to the reflection of light by the fiber structure. The colors ranges includes red, brown, gold, cream, black, and blue. I think I have seen blue tiger eye before. Okay. This mineral, let's see that. This mineral brings together the vibrations of sand and sunlight, synthesizing the energies of the sun and the earth. It combines sharpness and grounding and is quite practical in its sphere of concern. It resonates to the frequencies of the earth, encouraging stability with dynamic beauty. The vibration is conducive to peacefulness and stimulates the actions required to advance the encounters with others during the meditative state. It is helpful for individuals seeking clarity and for those who must deal intelligently with the scattered details which must be brought together into some pattern. It can be used to enhance the psychic abilities and can assist the gentle attunement of the third eye activity. This stone is being best adapted to earthy people. At the base chakra, it can help to discipline sexual and emotional life, bringing light to instances where one must be practical. It contains a solar energy, which helps with those psychic processes which involve the solar plexus chakra, promoting intuitive impressions. Tiger eye can help one to become practical and of discreet mind, as well as more grounded. It can eliminate the blues and can bring brightness and optimism to the user. It provides for balancing of the yin and yang energy, the masculine and feminine. It further assists in the integration and balancing of both hemispheres of the brain, bringing awareness to perception. And let's see. It can help to prepare the system of the bodies for the approach of enthusiasm for flowing with the river of humanity toward the one. Okay. And it vibrates to the number 4. I just think it's very pretty. There you go. Tiger eye. Okay, so now we got to my favorite part. Here, I'll show you this little bitty tiger eye. That's beautiful. Okay, so, all right. Okay, so I have 3 spots this evening. If anyone would like for me to pull a card for them, let me know. Working with the Cosmic Deck of Initiation, Earth Magic, and one of the 22 major arcana. So if you want, put me in the comment. And okay, right on, conscious tone. I remember you requested one last time, but unfortunately the 3 spots are already, he was ready and waiting. Okay, all right. Okay, so how about Cosmic Deck of Initiation? You okay with that? Don't, oh, music heals me, says Eye of the Tiger. Oh, wow. That brings me back to when I was in the 9th grade. It takes me back to like 1984 when I used to play the flute at school. And I could play dun, 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 dun. Oh my gosh, I am a tiger. I'm not even gonna try. Thank you, music heals me. Okay, so we have conscious tone. I'm gonna do Cosmic Deck of Initiation for you, Sterling, once Earth Magic, and we got space for one more. Yes, Conscious Tone 313 and Music Heals Me. Yes, you two can make a band with those names. Okay, let's back into this moment. Conscious Tone, go ahead, meditate within, take your energy within in your meditation as I shuffle these cards for you. And Justin, no, I have not been live all day. I got a life. I saw some clients today, ate some food, went to the store. Okay, so conscious tone, go ahead and meditate on the cards. This one is for you. Okay. Oh, all right. For conscious tone, the card I pulled is Virgo in the cosmic deck of initiation, the sacred geometry, the mandala, Virgo. All right. Okay, Virgo. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, here we go. This is for you, conscious tone. Aspects within are ordered and balanced. Order and structure provide channels for future works. Balance between spirit and intellect. Perfection has been found within, now manifested. While focus on details is important, keep in thought the overall picture. Service is called forth and ask for concentrated effort. So with this information, conscious tone, I see this Virgo energy is manifesting in you. You've done your homework and you're doing, as we all know, we continue to do our homework. We continue to pull together all those aspects of us, the spirit and the intellect, that energy, that prana, pulling that all together so that we are able to, once we serve and feed and nurture ourselves, we're able to reach out and give a hand to the next one. As they say, each one teach one. We give that knowledge out, we share, we shine our light to the world. And so this is what I'm seeing for you in this Virgo card. To maintain that balance, to maintain your structure, but at the same time, to allow for that spontaneity so that you're able to meet your energy in the moment, to meet others' energy in the moment, in order to serve up for them what they need for their souls. So this is for you, conscious tone 313. I hope that there's something in there for you that helps. Okay, so next up is Sterling. Oh, let's see. I think Sterling wanted earth magic. I can see it in my mind's eye. It said earth magic. So got to get the earth magic deck. Conscious tone says, wow, that's right on. Maintaining balance is the key. Yeah, you find yourself being called more and more to really gather together all of the things that Spirit has blessed you with your intellect, with your consciousness, of course. And you are stepping out into your community and reaching out and doing your part to shine your light. Okay, so Sterling, go ahead and meditate. I'm going to pull this card for you. Just checking to see where the booklet was, because I always like to share with the booklet. Okay. All right. So Sterling, this is for you. Here you go, Sterling. Vision Quest. Desert. Are you ready to traverse into that desert of your being, Sterling? Where there's scorpions, cacti that can prick you. It's also beautiful in the desert. You know, you're able to see mirages, to have clear visions of, you know, what is attempting to manifest in your soul's purpose. You know, travel into that desert, you know, that 40 days and 40 nights, going within. It's been sparse, maybe a little dry. You have to pack, you know, provisions, but you're being called to really check within your own inner desert. And it's beautiful. Sit in there and check in with your vision and see what spirit is ready for you to manifest. What's really cool about the desert, you know, we're really, especially if you can envision yourself, you know, in a desert and there's nothing for miles around. You have no water, you have no food. I know that kind of sucks, but just bear with me. And as you're walking and you start, you know, contemplating and thinking about all the things that you would love to have, and all that emotion is going into there, and you're like, you know, we manifest through our emotions, so you're being really invested into that vision, and then off in the distance you see exactly what it is that you want. But of course you realize at that moment, once you get there, it was just a mirage. But was it really? It was a vision of, you know, showing you what you are ready and capable for. There you go, Sterling. That is for you. It's time for your vision quest. Very cool. Very cool. And let's see, was there one more? I think there might have been. Let me scroll down in the chat room. Okay. All right. I don't see anyone else, but I'll give it a second because I know that there's a little. You are welcome, Sterling. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. So I don't see any more requests, so that's good. So I thank all of you. I have to take that off because I only need the glasses for reading. And when I'm looking at the computer, it's like killing my eyeballs. So I thank all of you for being here this evening. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your support. And speaking of support, please make sure to like the page and please invite your friends to the channel. Please share my channel. And if you wish to contact me personally, look in the description. Look in the description box below. And a integrator. Looking at this, let me keep my mind on this one track because I have like a one-track mind. Check the description box below and you'll see the link to my website. And a integrator asked, how's it going with your new flute? And I think that was a subtle way. Just, I don't know if I'm kind of in the mood for playing, but it's not new. I've had these flutes for a couple of years. I just decided to pull it out. And this is a shakuhachi style bamboo flute. And the bamboo, I believe, is brought in from Japan. And there's no lacquer in it, which gives it a more natural, that hollow sound. And maybe I will play, but I'm not, I can't play on screen. I'd be too embarrassed. I'll have to put up a beautiful picture for you to look at while I do an outro. Thank you, A Integrator. You know just how to push my buttons. So yes, I love wind instruments. When I was in the 4th grade is when I got my first flute. It wasn't the bamboo, it was a Western style flute. And I remember I was told to pick an instrument that you want to play. So I thought about it and I was like, well, I don't want a guitar, even though I like guitars because I was a big fan of John Denver. I didn't want a guitar because a guitar, if a string breaks, you can't play it. So I wanted something that I could play and, could easily carry with me. So I opted for a flute. And yes, you have those little knobs and they can easily be broken. But, you get a small flute, you can carry it in your pocket, and you're always ready to go and you don't have to worry about anything outside of yourself in order to play it. Teresa, music would be a stretch. The musician in the family is my third son, who's off at Music Conservatory at Eastman School of Music. He is a jazz trumpet player. He's the musician. So, so anyway, so let's go ahead and let me bring up a nice image for you guys. Hold on one second. Let's see if I can do this in a timely fashion. Here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this in. So I wish you guys well. I'm going to put up one of my photographs for you in a bowl that I made. And oh, wait a minute. I can't do that yet. Hold on one second. Okay. Almost there. I'm going to bring this up. I finally figured out how to display images in the chat. Now I got to figure out what I did with the image. Hold on. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and ring in the chime and present the screen to you and enjoy the beauty of the burning sage. Okay. And let's see. Let me close that. There we go. So let's take a moment. Yes, a violin is absolutely beautiful. Let's take a moment to remember our ancestors and to remember all those who have transitioned before us. It is on their backs, it is upon their backs that we stand. Take a nice deep centering breath. I wish you peace and great bliss, and I thank you for being here. Peace and great bliss.